A speech called The Choice of Evil. Bob Ransom was one of our experienced speakers, although this one was quick, having been called only last night. Still looking forward to it. Bob Ransom, The Choice of Evils.
It has been said by many philosophers and religious leaders that confession is good for the soul. In my own life, I have actually found that to be true. Every time I did something wrong or told a lie, I felt bad. It was like tying a sack of rocks around my neck and carrying a weight. I also found that when I told the truth and admitted what I had done, I felt better. The purpose of my speech today with you, my friends, is to get something off of my chest. Many years ago, 26, 27 years ago, in my career as a criminal defense lawyer, I did something unethical on a case. I cheated. I am not proud of that. I have carried that weight my whole life. I'm also proud of the fact, however, that during my 40 years of defending people accused of serious crimes, that was the only time I ever committed any violation. I relied on the truth to judges, juries, and my own clients. I never put a witness on the stand to lie, ever. But in this particular instant, on the spur of the moment, I made a choice. The choice by itself can be seen as an evil. I rationalized my spur of the moment choice by telling myself that if I did not commit this evil, that a greater evil would be the result, a perpetuation of a horrible injustice. This confession that I'm going to talk to you about today involved the defense of a young man named Kevin Brave Bear, a Native American member of the Northern Cheyenne tribe. Kevin was charged with vehicular homicide, driving with alcohol in his system, having an accident, and the result was the death of the lady he was dating, who happened to be the mother of a 5-year-old girl. This story actually takes place and starts in a teepee deep in the Colorado mountains. It was a prayer ceremony of the Northern Cheyenne tribe, conducted by Robert Brave Bull, the chief of the tribe and their medicine man, spiritual leader. He was the father of Kevin. My friend Dan and I were the only white people in that teepee. There were 26 Native Americans. And I felt completely honored to be there. The ceremony was actually for me, to help me help the chief's son. Because of my respect for Robert, the chief, I told him I would defend his son free of charge. It was an honor to do that. All night long, the drums were beating, the fire was burning, and the prayers never ceased. All trying to give me help and power to help Kevin. The case involved Kevin taking his girlfriend out to dinner. They had a couple of glasses of wine. He drove home in a driving rainstorm. Windshield wipers going, could barely see. The girl's apartment was on a street that was under construction. There were flashing lights for barriers. the rain coming down. Kevin did not distinguish between the oncoming lights of a car and the lights that were flashing in the rain. He turned cautiously in front of the oncoming car as he turned into the girl's apartment. The car was broadsided. The lady was killed, leaving a 5-year-old girl motherless. The law in Colorado was such that if you drive a car with any alcohol in your system and a death results, you are guilty. It's called strict liability. There was no defense. The case was a sentencing case. What should happen to Kevin? As I sat in that courtroom ready to make my argument on behalf of Kevin, I knew that the prosecutor was not seeking any more than 2 years with possible work release. I wasn't too worried about the sentencing. We were going to do okay. But as I stood up to talk, the doors of the courtroom opened, and in walked 12 ladies, all wearing the same t-shirt that said MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. They were followed into that courtroom by a cameraman from Channel 9 News. And I knew we were doomed. The judge imposed the sentence. It was not 2 years. It was not 4 years. It was not 6 years. It was not even the maximum of 12 years. The judge found aggravating circumstances and sentenced Kevin to prison for 24 years. I turned around and I looked at the Native Americans, all 26 of them sitting in that courtroom. And they were staring at me, thinking, we paid nothing. And we got what we paid for. Nothing. White man's justice again. I walked out of that courtroom devastated. We filed an appeal. That was going to take 2 years. And if we won the appeal, Supreme Court would say, okay, reduce the sentence to the legal maximum of 12. That would have been a win. A year went by. All of a sudden, the judge who imposed that sentence retired. He was replaced by a new judge, a young lady. As part of my duties as the president of the Criminal Defense Bar Association, it was my duty to go meet the judge, talk to her, introduce myself, and answer any questions she had about criminal defense in Jefferson County. I looked up behind her on the wall, and there was a big painting of a Native American scene. I looked around. There were other Native American artifacts that she had put in her office. It is unethical to talk to a judge about a case without the presence of the prosecutor. I made a decision. I said, Judge, you have an opportunity to right a wrong imposed by your previous judge. I had come to find out that the judge's wife was raised as a single child because her mother was killed by a drunk driver. And I realized, MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Channel 9 News, that was just pouring gas on the fire. The judge was emotionally torn and acted out of his emotions and imposed an unjust sentence. I told her all of this. She listened unethically herself. She said to me, what would a horrible, hard, tough sentence be in a case like this? I told her. A harsh sentence would be 6 years in prison. She said, bring him back. We withdrew the appeal. I brought him back to court. And this young lady displaying courage that I have never seen before or since, reduced that sentence to 6 years with credit for time served. Kevin served another year, got out of prison, and for the last 30 years has been an upstanding citizen and a leader in the Northern Cheyenne tribe. I do not know if justice was served. I can only hope so, by my choice of an evil. And whether or not I'm going to feel better by sharing with you, my friends, the fact that I cheated in a case, I don't know if that's going to make me feel better or not. I can only hope so. Thank you.